for the benefit of this video, what I wanted to show you really quick is what a very simple workflow might look like for, say, running a live stream via Streamyard, especially if you are very, very new at this. And there was a time when I was very new at this and I had to learn things and literally line item every move that I was going to make so I don't miss some of the moves. At this point, I'm doing a bunch of things behind the scenes and speaking live and interviewing, and I don't even think about what the production things are behind the scenes because I automatically do them as, a second nature. However, to get there, it just means that you have to do a little bit of practice, and practice makes perfect. For example, this was here a production schedule for a 2-day virtual conference that I was producing via Streamyard, and it was being pushed to a event platform. And I believe the event platform was vFairs. So really what is on this first part of the schedule is what happens. It's like the timeline. When the audience logs in, we have some intro slides, music with the countdown, just get people informed what's going to happen next. And we had a few sponsor loops. And then we had the welcome and opening remarks. This was pre-recorded. And then we had a lot of segments where we had a live segment and then a pre-recorded segment and then a live segment and a pre-recorded segment. So all the way to break and then down to the end of the event, day one, which would end with networking. Networking was on the platform. And then we would start all over again the next day. And as you can see, this production schedule, it's kind of like my template for virtual conferences, especially that have a lot of elements to them. I, do a lot of description as far as what type of content this might be and what are some of the visuals that are involved in that event, the source of the visuals. I was using both StreamYard and OBS for some of the things that required. But then what I wanted to show you is something super silly easy. So because I was new at StreamYard, I created this flow for myself with what are the things that I need. I know I'm laughing at this right now because it's really silly, but if you need to start somewhere and if you need to learn something, this might be something that works for you. So I was literally, creating a flow for my backstage as I was running and producing this virtual event day one. So it literally what do I do with this overlay? I turn it on. Then I might add something else, which was basically adding OBS to StreamYard with some sponsor slides and some countdown. It was much easier for me at the time. Again, this is feels like centuries ago where you didn't have a countdown in StreamYard and you need to create a countdown via different means. And I was using OBS for that. And then whatever, the next thing would be remove the welcome slide and play some more music or whatever countdown, and then add the overlay, the title slide for the opening remarks, and then remove OBS from stream. And I even had timing and also cues. This would be something that I was just copying and pasting in the private chat for the next speaker that was about to go live, or the next speaker that was about to engage with the audience via Q&A. I mean, all kinds of things. And I was kind of keeping time as well, because at the time, again, I didn't have another tool, which now I use a whole lot, which is Stage Timer, to inform the live presenter if they're going over time. So I was just keeping time in the private chat. And prior to having the presenter go live, I would inform them, hey, by the way, I'm going to be keeping time. Make sure that you glance over to the private chat every so often, because that's the way I can communicate with you, short of coming on live, which no event producer wants to do ever. So this is really something that you can do if you're new at running a stream or new at producing streams, and you really need to lay down every step of the way what you're going to do so that you either don't forget, or if you multitask, you don't get completely flustered and distracted and lose your way somewhere there. So if you need to do that, do that. And again, on my production schedule, I will have a bunch of tabs with, RTMP codes and maybe the speaker sessions and maybe the pre-recorded content, especially the tech run-through schedule, which would be making notes after I meet with each one of the live presenters, highlighting some of the problem areas, everything that's in red. It would be note to self, this speaker has 84 slides. But then if you're looking at the internet, then I have things like, I'm going to be in trouble if this speaker doesn't get on a dedicated wired connection. It's going to be blurry the whole time, and that won't be good for live streaming. And then I would have, some type of a Q2Q, a rehearsal messaging that this was sent via the Calendly app, and each speaker was inviting in during one preset day of technical rehearsals, and I would queue them up. I would give about 10, 15 minutes per presenter. Really, it was more like 10 minutes and then a 5-minute of a buffer time, I would say. So if somebody runs over, we don't have a bunch of people waiting in the green room for the next one to end. And yeah, this was really my beginning of times production schedule that I wanted to show an example of. This conference happened a long time ago. You don't have to worry about all the names and the links. It's something that, it might be useful as far as strategy goes for your event. If you need to do it to work for your streams as detailed as it needs to be, I feel like I'm repeating myself when it comes to that, but make it work for you. I'm not going to come into your house and tell you how to arrange your furniture, unless maybe that's my job. If I'm a home designer and I have something to say about that and you're paying me for doing that. But in most cases, you're going to arrange your furniture and your living quarters based on your comfort level and based on what makes sense for you. Same thing with streaming. You need to arrange the tools, create the workflow that works for you, and go from there. Practice, again, makes perfect. If I did not say that enough, let me say that again. And hopefully, after doing a bunch of those, you will get not only comfortable to do more complex streams, but also do it on almost like automatic at one point, because it's something that has already become part of your knowledge base, second nature, and you don't have to overthink some of steps that have to be taken, just like driving or riding a bicycle. You don't have to think every time you like changing gears and pressing on pedals. You already know that, unless you're just started driving, and maybe you don't. Well, anyway, that's all I had. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you stay tuned for more.